Fit Fam? Welcome on back to my channel. My name is Megan Janice, the founder of Nomadic Fitness, and I teach you ladies how to eat way more food without any restrictions and work out smarter instead of harder so you can build that beautiful hourglass body that you can feel amazing in and maintain it year-round for life. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and if you're coming on back, thanks so much for joining for another video. All right, fam, I'm in a new apartment in Mexico and it is a new year. We are officially in January 2024. I want to just share everything that I learned in 2023 and how 2023 was the year that I got the best results with my physique in my life. So you can see here the transformation that I had from the end of 2022 to the end of 2023. So the biggest changes that happened was actually my weight is very similar in both of these photos, pretty much somewhere around 135 pounds, and I am 5'5", just for reference because I get asked that a lot. But you can see that the most significant difference is that my legs got way more defined, so much more sculpted, sexy definition, which was a huge goal of mine, something that I struggled to get for years and didn't understand why I couldn't freaking get those results. But obviously after this past year and now having gotten those results, I know why. So I'm gonna share that with you in today's video. So I got the beautiful defined sculpted legs, and I also got bigger glutes with more sculpted definition as well. So those were huge goals of mine because throughout the years that I've been on my fitness journey, it was always pretty easy for me to get abs and to have, you know, kind of like a toned, defined upper body. And it's not really that my lower body looked bad per se, but I always wondered why I didn't have bigger glutes, more shapely, more defined glutes, and especially why I didn't have any definition on my legs. They were just kind of small and skinny. So I'm gonna share everything that I did in 2023 to have such a huge transformation, the biggest transformation I've ever had in a very small amount of time, really. I know 1 year kind of sounds like a lot, but the thing is, I've been on my fitness journey since 2015 was the very beginning. So this is what I looked like back then. I had gained, you know, a little bit of body fat for the first time in my life. I was definitely not feeling very confident, felt, you know, a little bit chubby, chunky, whatever. So that was when I decided to start doing anything in terms of fitness, because before that I had literally done nothing. I was 23 years old at that time, and it was the next year in 2016 when I first discovered weightlifting. So I completely fell in love with weightlifting as soon as I got into it, and just from lifting weights I saw a really big transformation happen in my body. But it wasn't until a year later in 2017 that I started to also do the nutrition component, aka tracking your macros, your protein, fats, and carbs. And that was when I really started to see next level results by combining the power of strength training and nutrition. So essentially pretty much from 2017 all the way till the end of 2022, yes, I got fit, and I obviously had a big transformation from where I was when I started my fitness journey when I wasn't fit at all. But the thing was, from 2017 to 2022, a 5-year span, I really kind of just looked the same. All I was doing was maintaining my physique. I wasn't actually progressing with it. So, you know, I would get lean, I would get, you know, small, and yes, I would get the defined abs. I was relatively toned, and I know a lot of you probably watching this would be very happy to even get to that result. And it's not that I was unhappy with it, but as I spent more time online and following other women who train, who track their macros, I started to realize that, you know what, I actually didn't have that much shape to my body. I didn't really look like I had a lot of muscle, because muscle is the thing that is going to shape your body, give all the sexy lines and definition, and really just make you look like somebody who spends a lot of time working out. So pretty much for these 5 years, I always wanted to have bigger, more shapely glutes and get that sexy leg definition. And I really didn't understand why I wasn't, because I thought I was doing all the right things. You know, I was eating 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein, which is very standard in the fitness industry. You always hear that. I was lifting weights 5 days a week, and I wasn't doing wimpy workouts. I was going hard, lifting heavy, doing all the big squats, deadlifts, hip thrusts, and I was also training lower body 3 days a week. And then on top of that, I was tracking my macros very religiously, very consistently. Of course, I go through phases, you know, sometimes maybe I wasn't so consistent and I take a little bit of a break and have some more freedom with my food, enjoying myself a little bit more. But overall, over the course of 5 years, I stayed really consistent. And so I did not know why I wasn't getting these amazing legs and glutes. So eventually I got fed up and just accepted to myself, okay, clearly I am at the max amount of knowledge that I personally have because it's been 5 years and I'm just maintaining the same body. I'm not progressing. And I found a really amazing woman on Instagram who had the exact physique that I desired. You know, amazing legs, amazing glutes, lots of muscle, looked so, so good. And I saw that she was eating quite a lot of food, you know, like 3,000 calories a day, which really blew my mind because I was always in the camp of, you know, it's not about not eating. You definitely need to eat to get results. But I was eating more like 1,700 to 2,000 calories a day, and even that I thought was a lot. I thought eating 2,000 calories a day was like the max. So following her content, I realized, wow, okay, I'm really probably not eating nearly enough to see the muscle growth that I want, and then to be able to maintain it with ease as well, because it's a lot easier to get a really muscular body and keep that all the time when you're eating a lot of food, because it gives you so much flexibility with your life, right? Like it's easier to go out, it's easier to go on vacation when your body is just burning through so many calories that even if you take some time away from your specific regimen, it's not really going to make a difference in your results. So the point of the story is I hired this woman, Kelly Nicole Fit, to be my personal one-to-one coach at the very beginning of 2023. And I just said, okay, give me legs, give me glutes like yours, teach me how to get there and how to maintain this with really high calories. So we got to work. So from January 2023 all the way through till mid-July 2023, I did my first ever bulk, also called a building phase. What it means is that you intentionally eat in a calorie surplus to try to gain weight. So you're actually trying to put on weight in this phase, and obviously not just any weight, you're trying to gain as much muscle as you possibly can. And obviously muscle is a type of weight. So this is a phase where you are gaining weight. You're eating more than your body is burning, so weight is coming on your body. And obviously you do this the right way by lifting weights, by being consistent with your macros, making sure you know the right division of protein, carbs, and fats, so that you're going to try to gain mainly muscle. But the thing is, when you gain muscle, you are also going to gain fat. There's just no getting around this. This is how our bodies work. And actually the ratio is about 1-to-1. So for every pound of muscle that you're gonna gain, you're also gonna gain about 1 pound of fat. So I had never done a bulk before because, like pretty much every woman out there, I was too afraid to do so. I was scared of gaining fat. I was scared of eating so much and just getting like really big and really uncomfortable in my body. So it was so invaluable for me to be guided by an expert who knew exactly what to expect, who knew what to tell me to do with my body, and I could just remove myself from, you know, the guesswork of it and just listen to her and also have her emotional support through the process, because we do get really emotional in our own bodies, right? Like it's easy for us to be like, oh my God, I don't look like exactly 100% perfect the way that I want to. And when you're just guiding yourself, it's very easy to spiral and be like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm just gonna slash on my calories and just start doing a whole bunch of cardio, blah, 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 blah. So when you have somebody who can be the voice of reason, who can be objective about your body and your journey, it really helps to calm you down and realize like, okay, this is a process. Not every single step of the way is going to be super amazing and super comfortable, but this is what it takes to get the results that you want. So anyways, I made a whole other video about what my bulking journey was like, so I will link it in the description below and here. But essentially I went from the beginning of January weighing about 137 pounds and having just finished a cut, so a fat loss phase from a calorie deficit at that time. And yeah, I had gotten lean, I had the really defined abs, but again, I was just like, I'm over having these skinny little legs and butt, and I really want them to grow, get bigger, and really defined. So we went from me being about 137 pounds all the way to the peak of my bulk, which was in June, where my highest weigh-in was 152 pounds. So I literally gained 15 pounds in 6 months. So that's obviously a lot, right? Like that is a lot for your body to go through, but it also really opened up my eyes to how much you can achieve with your physique in a relatively short amount of time when you are actually really taking action with a quality strategy. So at the end of my cut in December 2022, I had gone down to about 1880 calories, and then we gradually increased my calories all the way up to 2,600 at the peak of my bulk when I was weighing in at my highest weight. Then that kind of last month of my bulk, we dropped them back down to 2,400 and my weight went to a consistent 150 pounds so that we could prepare ourselves for the next phase, which was going to be the cut, which is where we were going to go into a calorie deficit to intentionally lose body fat. So the first 6 months of 2023, I spent time intentionally gaining weight, 15 pounds, by eating more. Now, the first 4 months of this, I loved because I loved that I was getting to eat so much food and I really saw, wow, my glutes are growing so fast. My legs are getting shaped like I've never seen before. This is awesome. But the last 2 months were quite difficult because by about May, June, I started to feel pretty uncomfortable because yes, I was putting on a lot of great sexy muscle on my legs and glutes, which made me really happy. But of course, with that, you also gain some body fat. So you're gonna get a little thicker, you're gonna get a little bit bigger. And me being somebody in the past who had always just stayed really lean and really petite, but then also didn't have the muscle definition, I felt so uncomfortable. So, you know, this is something I would kind of cry about to my coach pretty frequently, saying, you know, it's really hard to feel thick like this, to feel kind of heavy and jiggly. I really miss being lean. And again, this was why it was so invaluable to have an experienced one-to-one coach in this process, because if it hadn't been for her, I know I would have psyched myself out because I would have been like, I just feel too uncomfortable. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going back to cutting. But because she was able to explain to me, this is part of the process. If you want to put on a lot of great sexy muscle, you're going to have to get uncomfortable for a period of time, feeling a little thick, feeling a little bit jiggly with a little bit more body fat. But soon you're going to be able to cut that all off. You're going to be able to go into a cut, lose that body fat, and once you cut down, you're gonna look like a whole new person underneath because you took the time to build your body. You took the time to eat up, train well, and put on that muscle. So even though this was hard, I was like, okay, you're right, I'm here for the ride, whatever you say, let's do this. So yeah, those last 2 months was definitely a little bit hard. I'd be training in the gym and you know, that kind of like horrible overhead lighting, and you know, I would see like, oh my gosh, I have so much cellulite on my glutes and legs, because for me that's really where I gain fat. But for me the biggest thing was like, oh my gosh, I feel like so insecure to be in the gym wearing these like cute tight shorts and then just seeing a bunch of cellulite like that. So yeah, that part was hard, but I powered through, and then mid-July we started to cut. So all the way from mid-July till the very, very end of 2023, and now it's the beginning of 2024 January, we spent all that time cutting. So it was almost 6 months. So literally the first 6 months of 2023, we spent building up, gaining all that muscle, doing a bulk, and then the last 6 months we spent cutting down, losing the fat that I had gained in the bulk, but maintaining as much muscle as possible. So the other good thing was, because I had spent so much time getting my calories so high, the highest I had ever intentionally eat before, it honestly made this cut a breeze. Overall, I felt like this cut was very easy because I was able to cut at a high calorie intake. So the first drop that we did from 2,400 calories was to 2,200, which honestly still felt like plenty of food. So I've explained this in another video of how you actually take yourself through both of these phases. I will link them below. But the difference of what happens when you go into a cut is you maintain your protein intake, because that should always be around 1 gram per pound of body weight. But then you will start to drop calories from your carbs and fats, because the deficit has to come from somewhere. You don't want it to come from the protein, because obviously you want to maintain your muscle. So you have to start taking from your energy sources, which is your carbs and fats. And then the other thing you add in is a little bit of cardio. So we started off with just 2 sessions of 30 minutes on the Stairmaster per week, and nothing crazy, literally just walking at a normal pace. But since it is on the Stairmaster, obviously this is harder than just regular walking. So this is what you call kind of zone 2 cardio, meaning it's not zone 1, which is literally just walking on the street. It's a little bit above that, but it's not like HIIT. It's not like super challenging cardio, which you don't need to do. You want to keep it low intensity so that it's not stressful for your body and it's not a lot for you to recover from. So in the very beginning of the cut, I was so relieved to just lose even a little bit of weight, a couple of pounds, because at the very end, I definitely felt thick. I felt jiggly. I felt very, very ready to start cutting down. So normally at the very beginning of a cut, you're gonna have some initial kind of quick wins. And that's not because it's the fat that you're necessarily losing, obviously a little bit, but when you do a sudden drop in your calories, you are going to lose water weight. You're gonna lose gut weight. So you're not gonna have as much food in your stomach anymore, which is probably gonna make you look leaner because you're not as bloated. And glycogen weight, which is the energy we store from carbs inside of our body. So all three of those sources start to go down a little bit, so you already look a little bit leaner. But then after that, I felt like it took a good bit of time for me to really start to actually notice, okay, I am really, really looking leaner in this cut. So I'd say it was really about month 3 when I started to feel like, okay, I can really tell that I've been cutting. Now I'm actually starting to look leaner significantly, noticeably than I was before. It was about month 3 that I was around 10 pounds down, but I definitely still had more fat that I wanted to lose. But after month 3, going into month 4, month 5, and then by month 6, it really just kept compounding from there. And then yeah, by the end, going into December 2023, I honestly just looked shredded. I was like, oh my God, I'm super, super lean. My abs are just like popping out like crazy. But again, I have been used to having abs for years because that was always easy for me to get since I don't really store fat on my upper body. I store it all on my thighs and butt. So the biggest amazing transformation was when I started to see the glutes popping with the lines and indents in all the right places, and especially seeing that sexy definition on my legs. Still, even now, you know, when I'm going to the gym and training, my mind is just blown when I see myself in the mirror for the first time ever having this crazy definition in my legs. I'm just so ecstatic about it and so grateful that I went through this process. So by the end of the cut, my lowest weigh-in was 133 pounds. So if you remember, the peak of my bulk was 152 in June, and then all the way down to 133 in December. So losing 19 pounds from the peak of my bulk. So literally in 1 year, I went from the first 6 months of gaining 15 pounds, and then in the second 6 months, losing 19. So that's really insane. It is a lot for your body to do in 1 year, but it made me realize that you really can achieve so much with your body when you are moving forward very intentionally with a good quality strategy. So the biggest thing I learned this year was the need to cycle through different phases. You need to give your body time to be in a dedicated muscle gaining phase and then a dedicated fat loss phase. You can't really do these simultaneously. You can maybe by a couple of pounds one way or another, but to really make a lot of progress one way or another, you gotta dedicate yourself to being in the surplus, putting on the weight, which obviously a lot of it is muscle, but yeah, some of it's gonna be fat too, and it's gonna be uncomfortable, you're gonna feel a little thick, but then after that, it is easy to lose the fat. As long as you are consistent, you're dedicated to your cut, the fat is gonna come off easily, and then you're gonna have all this beautiful muscle to show underneath that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't taken the time to go through that muscle building phase. So yeah, my biggest takeaway is that you really need to be consistently adjusting your macros based on how your body is responding to what you're doing to get you to the goal that you want, right? This was my biggest mistake in the 5 years where I just did everything on my own, because I would kind of just always eat more or less the same, and I would be able to get lean, I would be able to have some muscle from that, but again, I wasn't really progressing with so much more muscle gain because I never knew how to really increase my calories to go through a bulk and then cut them down afterwards. So yeah, I really learned this year the value of just having expert one-to-one guidance, so you don't have to keep guessing and wondering what you should do with your body. You are working with a professional who knows, who has spent years, who has the results that you want and has gotten so many other people those results, to just tell you literally XYZ, do this, and then reassure you through the process. Because like I said, we get so emotional about our own bodies that it's very easy to psych ourselves out. So having somebody there who can be objective, who can tell you, yeah, you're gonna be a little bit uncomfortable at the peak of your muscle gaining phase, because yes, you're gonna get a little thick, but this delayed gratification is going to be worth it because you're gonna look so good once you cut down. So if you would love to be guided through the process of building your dream physique and not have to guess anything, not have to wonder anything, and have lots of accountability, lots of support to get you through the process, which honestly, I really think people need to create a great physique, then that is what our coaching program is for. You can click on the link below below to apply to work directly with myself or with one of my other amazing coaches so we can guide you to your dream results finally and get you there way faster. Don't make the same mistake that I made trying to do everything on my own for 5 years. So thank you so much for checking out this video, Fit Fam. Like I said in the description below, I'm gonna put the link to our one-to-one coaching program. You can go check that out. And I'm also gonna link the other videos that are relevant to what we talked about here, about how to take yourself through a calorie surplus and a calorie deficit to lose fat, as well as sharing the video where I went really in depth about the first 6 months of 2023 when I did my bulk. So I love you. I promise I will be recording way more this 2024 because I have so much good stuff to share with all of you. So now you can go ahead here and check out this video, which is gonna walk you through the details of a fat loss phase, how to go through a cut properly, which is exactly what I did this year and what I take my clients through all the time. So I will see you in that video.